Order number 6, notices of motion.
Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion that the Senate notes the County Fiscal Performance Measurement Index report laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 6th August 2026.
Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Now, Honorable Senators, statements pursuant to Standing Order 52-1. Senator wa County ya Kilifi, Senate Minority Leader. That statement is dropped in the absence of Senator Madzayo. Request for statements pursuant to Standing Order 53. Senator Edwin Sifuna. That statement is dropped. Senator Betty Montet. Senator Montet, are you reading your statement? Order, Honorable Senators. Montet, you have got the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm seeking a statement on the mushrooming of residential estates in proximity to industrial plants. Sorry for that. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a matter of countrywide concern regarding the mushrooming of residential estates in proximity to industrial plants. Mr. Speaker, sir, the establishment and expansion of residential estates near industrial plants, including developments such as Lukenya County Villas, Manzoni area, and Chumbi residential areas, continue to raise serious environmental, public health, and safety concerns. Although these developments help meet the growing demand for housing for employees working in nearby industries, their proximity to industrial facilities exposes residents to dust, gaseous emissions, industrial effluent, excessive noise, and other pollutants that threaten human health and environment. In the statement, Mr. Speaker, the committee should address the following. 1, the existing zoning policies, regulations, and planning guidelines governing the establishment of residential estates in proximity to industrial plants and the extent of which they are implemented and enforced. Number 2, the legal and policy frameworks governing the conversion of industrial land to residential use, including mixed or dual use developments involving industrial and residential activities. Number 3, the county spatial plans, integrated development plans, and relevant national urban development policies guiding orderly land use and preventing conflicts between industrial and residential developments. Number 4, whether EIA's strategic environmental assessments and other statutory environmental approvals were undertaken for such developments and the measures adopted to mitigate risks arising from emissions, chemical spills, noise pollution, and other environmental hazards. Number 5, the measures to ensure compliance with zoning, environmental, public health, and planning laws by estate developers, industries, and relevant regulatory agencies, including enforcement actions, penalties, and remedial measures where violations occur or resident safety is compromised. Senator Betty Montet, nominated senator. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Madzayo, earlier on when I called out your statement, you were absent from the chamber. but of course by virtue of your office, I hereby reinstate and allow you to read the statement.
I'm very grateful, Chair. Chair, with a little respect and humility, I do accept that I came a bit late, and I'm happy that you have decided to restore mine. Kwanza, Bwana Spika, nataka nikushukuru sana kwa kuniruhusu kuleta taarifa hii kuhusu kuanza rasmi kwa shughuli za chuo cha utalii cha Ronald Ngala katika kaunti ya Kilifi. Mstahiki Spika, nasimama kwa mujibu wa kanuni zetu za kudumu namba 52 kipengele cha kwanza ya kanuni za kudumu za bunge la Senate. Mstahiki Spika, swala hili la kwanza, Mstahiki Spika, ni kuanzishwa kwa chuo hichi. Kwa shughuli za chuo hichi ni hatua muhimu katika kuendeleza sekta ya utalii, ukarimu na uchumi samawati. Chuo hiki kipya kinatarajiwa kupanua fursa za elimu na mafunzo ya kifundi katika fani za utalii, ukarimu, upishi, masuala ya baharini na taaluma nyingine zinazohusikana. Aidha, kutokana na nafasi za ajira, kuwezesha vijana kupata ujuzi unaokadiri ama unaokabidhi mitihani ya somo la ajira na kuchochea maendeleo ya kijamii na kiuchumi katika kaunti ya Kilifi, kwa taifa zima kwa ujumla. Mstahiki Spika, ninawahimiza wakaazi wa kaunti ya Kilifi, hususan vijana, kutumia fursa hii kwa kujiunga na kozi ambazo zinaeleweka ama zinazojulikana katika chuo hichi. Aidha, naomba serikali kupitia Wizara ya Uhamasishaji na Wanyamapori kushirikiana na kuongoza na uongozi wa chuo kuendesha kampeni za uhamasishaji ili wananchi wapate taarifa kuhusu kozi zinazotolewa, masharti ya udahili na fursa na nyingine zinazopatikana. Bwana Spika, vile vile naomba serikali kuhakikisha kuwa wakaazi wenyewe sifa kutoka kaunti ya Kilifi wanapata fursa zinazostahili katika kupata nafasi za masomo, ajira na shughuli nyingine zinazotokana na uendeshaji wa chuo hiki ili jamii inufaike kikamilifu. Mheshimiwa Spika, mwisho napenda kupongeza serikali, hususan Wizara ya Utalii na Wanyamapori pamoja na wanadau wote waliochangia kukamilika na kuanza kwa shughuli za chuo hiki. Ni matumaini yangu kuwa chuo kitaendelea kupewa rasilimali na usaidizi unaohitajika ili kiwe chuo cha ubora katika mafunzo ya utalii na ukarimu na kuchochea maendeleo ya kijamii na ya kiuchumi katika kaunti ya Kilifi na taifa zima kwa ujumla. Asante Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, I have a message to read so that we proceed with the statements. Order, Senator Murgor. Message from the National Assembly, passage of the County Government Additional Allocations Bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2026. Honorable Senators, I wish to report to the Senate that pursuant to Standing Order 46, 3, and 4, I have received the following message from the Speaker of the National Assembly regarding the passage by the National Assembly of the County Government's Additional Allocation Bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2026. The message delivered dated Wednesday, 5th August 2026, was received in the office of the Clerk of the Senate today, Thursday, 6th of August 2026. Pursuant to Standing Order 46.4, I now report the message. Whereas the County Government's Additional Allocation Bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2026, was passed by the Senate on Tuesday, 17th of June 2026, and thereafter referred to the National Assembly for consideration pursuant to the provisions of Article 110, Sub-Article 4 of the Constitution. And whereas on Tuesday, 4th of August 2026, the National Assembly considered and passed the said bill with amendments as contained in the schedule of amendments attached herewith. Now, therefore, in accordance with the provisions of Article 112, Sub-Article 1B of the Constitution and Standing Orders 41, 1, and 144 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby convey the said decision of the National Assembly to the Senate. Honorable Senators, Article 112, Sub-Article 1B of the Constitution provides that if one House passes an ordinary bill concerning counties and the second House passes the bill in an amended form, it shall be referred back to the originating House for reconsideration. Honorable Senators, in this regard, and pursuant to Standing Order 210-2, I grant the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget permission to retreat to consider the National Assembly amendments and table its report this afternoon for consideration by the Senate in the course of today's sitting. Further, I directed the clerk to prepare and circulate a supplementary order paper to enable the Senate to consider the National Assembly amendments. The House is accordingly guided, and I thank you. I have further communication to make regarding visiting delegation of teachers and students from Eldoret GK High School in Uasin Gishu County. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence of a visiting delegation of 9 teachers and 40 students from Eldoret GK High School in Uasin Gishu County who are seated in the public gallery. The delegation is visiting the Senate for an academic exposition. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend Senator Osotsi. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful visit. Further, there is a visiting delegation of teachers and students from St. Francisco Amani School, Nandi County. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence of a visiting delegation of 19 teachers and 56 students from St. Francisco Amani School in Nandi County who are seated in the public gallery. The delegation is visiting the Senate for an academic exposition. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful visit. I thank you. In the absence of Senator Mandago from Uasin Gishu, Senator Cherargei, you will, in under 1 minute, welcome the students from Uasin Gishu County and Nandi County, and thereafter read your statement pursuant to Standing Order 53.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to warmly extend a warm welcome to the visiting students from GK Prison in Uasin Gishu County, and also St. Francisco Amani School in Kapsabet Town. Mr. Speaker, for the benefit of members, like my leader of minority, Uasin Gishu and Nandi is almost one county because we are neighbors. I want to encourage them to be focused, to be disciplined. It is lucky that we are here to see one arm of government. You know, there are 3 arms of government: the executive, the judiciary, and now the parliament. So feel most welcome. Kapsabet Town is also my headquarters of Nandi County. When I will retreat to run the county affairs of Nandi, I'll be operating in Kapsabet Town, Mr. Speaker. And therefore feel most welcome. I think, Speaker, as per the tradition, I would like to see the lovely students and their teachers after, as the tradition of this house, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with your indulgence, so that they can benefit also that their senator was working, let me read a statement, request for a statement on the industrial action by clinical officers in Nandi County and the state of healthcare service delivery. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health of a county-wide concern regarding the ongoing industrial action or strike by clinical officers in Nandi County. Mr. Speaker, sir, the ongoing industrial action or strike in the county has disrupted healthcare service delivery, including the closure of Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, among others, raising concern about the realization of constitutional right to the highest attainable standard of health, the welfare of health workers, healthcare workers, and human resource management within the Nandi County health sector. In the statement, the committee should address the following: the status of the industrial action by clinical officers in Nandi County, the underlying causes of dispute, including the implementation status of 2024 Collective Bargaining Agreement, CBA, and timelines for resolving the dispute and restoring normal services in Nandi. Mr. Speaker, number 2, why eligible clinical officers have not been promoted, redesignated, or granted study leave in accordance with the approved career progression guidelines and other applicable policies, and indicate the measures and timelines for fully implementing these frameworks. Mr. Speaker, number 3, whether the clinical officers are receiving salaries, allowances, medical insurance, and other employment benefits in accordance with Salaries and Remuneration Commission, SRC, advisories, or the Collective Bargaining Agreement, and other applicable laws. Mr. Speaker, number 4, the status of outstanding salary arrears and when they will be settled, including pending promotions and other benefits owed to clinical officers. Number 5, Mr. Speaker, sir, the current staffing levels in Nandi County and vacancies for clinical officers in the county, the measures being undertaken to recruit additional officers through transparent, competitive, and merit-based process. So, Speaker, number 6, the status of supply of essential medicine, laboratory reagents, medical equipment, and other supplies in public health facilities in Nandi, which is not there, Mr. Speaker. And finally, measures in place to ensure continued provision of healthcare services during the industrial action strike, and the mechanisms by the county government of Nandi and the Ministry of Health to ensure timely implementation of negotiated agreements, strengthen labor relations, and prevent future industrial disputes across the country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Ed Okech.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. These are requests for statement on the approval and implementation of the Migori County budget for financial year 2026-2027. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the approval and implementation of the Migori County government budget for the financial year 2026-2025. Mr. Speaker, sir, concerns have been raised over compliance with the provisions of Article 201 of the Constitution, the Public Finance Management Act 2012, the County Governments Act 2012, and other applicable laws governing public finance management, particularly in relation to budget approval, development expenditure thresholds, treatment of pending bills, and adherence to participatory planning frameworks. In the statement, therefore, Mr. Speaker, the committee should address the following: the approval of a budget exceeding estimates submitted by the county executive, including the source of additional funds, and whether due legal procedures and public participation were followed. Secondly, the committee should state whether the county met the statutory requirement of allocating at least 30% of its budget to development expenditure. Thirdly, the basis for the allocation of Kenya shillings 203 million for pending bills and whether it is supported by a verified schedule of beneficiaries and projects. Fourthly, whether allocations under the financing locally led climate action, commonly known as FLOCA program, complied with the required legal and participatory planning framework. Fifthly, Mr. Speaker, whether the enactment of the Migori County Appropriation Act for the financial year 2026-2027 complied with the Constitution and statutory requirements. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, the measurements by the Office of the Controller of Budget and other oversight institutions to ensure the county budget complies with the law. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Okongo Mogeni. Senator Mogeni, you heard statements. In his absence, again, that particular set of statements is dropped. Senator Hamida Kibwana. Senator Hamida Kibwana. Those statements are also dropped. Senator Cherargei, you've got another statement here. As Senator Cherargei prepares to read that statement, Senator Betty Montet-Till, you have another statement.
Speaker.
Senator Wakoli. Oh. Senator Sifuna. And Senator Sifuna again. Very well, Cherargei, proceed to read your statement.
Request for statement on the welfare and protection of Kenyans residing and working in South Sudan. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Committee of National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations on a matter of national concern regarding the welfare and protection of Kenyans residing and working in the Republic of South Sudan. Mr. Speaker, sir, Kenyans residing and working in South Sudan continue to face insecurity, loss of life and property, labor disputes, delayed or unpaid salaries, displacement, and limited access to consular and emergency assistance. In the statement, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee should address the following. 1, the number of Kenyans currently residing and working in South Sudan, including those who have registered with the Embassy of Kenya in Juba, and the mechanism for maintaining accurate and up-to-date records. Mr. Speaker, sir, number 2, the nature and number of cases involving Kenyans in South Sudan, reported to and handled by the Embassy of Kenya from 2023 to date, including cases relating to insecurity, loss of life and property, labor disputes and detention, including the action taken and outcome of each case, including traffic issues. Mr. Speaker, number 3, the number of Kenyans evacuated or repatriated from South Sudan from 2023 to date, including circumstances necessitating such action, the assistance provided, and challenges encountered. Mr. Speaker, number 4, the measures implemented under the Kenya Diaspora Policy 2024.
Hold. Senators, let us allow Senator Cherargei to be heard in silence. If you must consult, please do so in a manner that do not disrupt your colleague.
Let me take that one again, Mr. Speaker, sir.
And I've seen you, Senator.
The measures, let me take number 4, the measures implemented under the Kenya Diaspora Policy 2024, the Comprehensive Kenya Diaspora Growth Strategy 2024-2027, and other relevant policies to protect Kenyans in South Sudan, the identified gaps and measures taken to address them. Mr. Speaker, finally, the bilateral agreements between Kenya and South Sudan for the protection of Kenya citizens, workers, businesses, and investment, the extent of their implementation, and measures taken to strengthen consular services and emergency response by the government of Kenya. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Faki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Energy on a matter of national concern regarding the circular letter issued by the Kenya Pipeline Company dated 25th of May 2026, which stopped the loading of transit oil products at the Kenya Petroleum Refineries in Mombasa, effective 1st of July 2026. Mr. Speaker, sir, the decision has disrupted businesses, forced transport companies to relocate to Eldoret, and threatens both community livelihoods and county revenues. It further raises concerns of monopolistic practices contrary to the Competition Act, CAP 504. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number 1, whether the decision was subjected to public participation as provided for by Article 232(1)(d) of the Constitution. Number 2, the role of EPRA in approving and overseeing the decision and measures taken to caution affected businesses and communities. Number 3, the strategies in place to mitigate the anticipated revenue and employment losses in Mombasa County. Number 4, why the Kenya Pipeline, which was permitted to act in contravention of the Competition Act, despite it being a private company. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senator Mohamed Faki Munyahaji, Senator Mombasa County.
Senator Edwin Sifuna. Senator Miraj. Senator Lemaletian. Order in the House. Proceed, Senator Sifuna.
Thank you, Speaker. I have 3 requests for statement. I'm pleading that you allow me to take 3 of them at a go. The first one is on the state of Mount Elgon and Mount Elgon National Park. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 of the Senate Standing Orders to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a matter of county concern regarding the state of Mount Elgon and its national park. Mr. Speaker, despite being a globally acclaimed heritage site and a critical water tower, this ecosystem has suffered great neglect. Persistent logging, illegal encroachment, and other illicit activities threaten biodiversity, the sustainability of the Nzoia River, livelihoods downstream, and the growth of tourism in Trans Nzoia County. As things stand, this vital resource has not been accorded the management of or investment.
Senator Kajwang. Order in the House.
the management or investment befitting its potential as a major national income earner. In the statement, the committee should address the following: the current state of Mount Elgon and its national park, specifically detailing biodiversity loss over the last 10 years, the extent of deforestation, and the exact acreage of the natural resource that remains sustainably protected from encroachment. Number 2, the measures currently in place to restore the mountain ecosystem and its dependent rivers. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, the government strategies to strengthen resource management to directly benefit local statements or local communities and enhance Mount Elgon's potential as a premier heritage and tourism site. The second statement, Honorable Speaker, is on the 5% ad valorem levy on landed cage fish in Kenya. This is a matter that has arisen after Kenyans heard that I had been seconded to the Agriculture Committee, which encompasses the blue economy and fisheries. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries on a matter of nationwide concern regarding the 5% ad valorem levy on landed cage fish in Kenya, introduced under the Fisheries Management and Development into brackets Aquaculture Regulations of 2024. Mr. Speaker, the Fisheries Management and Development Aquaculture Regulations 2024 introduced a 5% ad valorem levy on the market value of fish harvested through cage aquaculture in Kenya's public waters, including Lake Victoria. Stakeholders contend that the levy disproportionately burdens cage fish farmers, particularly small and medium-scale producers, by increasing production costs, reducing profitability, and discouraging investment. They further argue that unlike other food production sectors, the levy applies exclusively to cage aquaculture in public waters, raising concerns about equity, competitiveness, and the sector's sustainability. As Homa Bay County produces more than half of Kenya's cage fish, its farmers are expected to bear the greatest impact, with possible adverse effects on employment, household incomes, food security, and the blue economy. In the statement, the committee should address the following: the policy, legal, and economic justification for imposing a 5% ad valorem levy on landed cage fish under the Fisheries Management and Development Regulations of 2024, including the objectives of the levy and the basis for determining the 5% rate. Number 2, Honorable Speaker, whether the ministry conducted stakeholder consultations, regulatory impact assessments, or socioeconomic analysis before introducing the levy, and if so, provide the findings and explain how they informed the final regulations. Thirdly, the projected revenue from the levy, its intended utilization, and the programs or services to be funded for the benefit of the aquaculture sector. And finally, Honorable Speaker, the actual and anticipated impact of the levy on the aquaculture sector, including its effects on production costs, profitability, investment, employment, fish prices, and the competitiveness of Kenya's cage fish industry. Speaker, with your permission, there was a last one. The fifth one was whether the government has considered reviewing, suspending, or repealing the levy, or adopting alternative financing mechanisms to support sustainable fisheries management without unduly burdening cage fish farmers, and if not, the reasons for retaining the levy. Finally, Honorable Speaker, I have a statement on internship placement for Bachelor of Science in Nursing graduates from the Kibabi University in Bungoma. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the failure to place 47 inaugural Bachelor of Science in Nursing graduates from Kibabi University on mandatory internship. Mr. Speaker, these graduates successfully completed their studies in 2025, sat for the Nursing Council of Kenya licensing examination, and fulfilled all academic and professional requirements. Despite meeting all these criteria, they were omitted from the recent internship postings, while other eligible graduates across the country were placed, and no explanation, Honorable Speaker, has been forthcoming from the relevant agencies, leaving them frustrated and without immediate recourse. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number 1, whether the Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree course offered at Kibabi University is validly recognized and approved by the Commission for University Education. 2, the reasons why the 47 graduates from Kibabi University have not been placed on the mandatory internship program despite fulfilling all the requirements. And finally, Honorable Speaker, the timelines within which these graduates will be placed on internship to enable their full professional registration and future employment. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Orders, Senator Hamida. Take your seat, or the nearest seat for that matter. Thank you. Honorable Senators, I have a communication to make from the Chair on a visiting delegation from the Parliament of Uganda. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's galleries this afternoon, a visiting delegation of Members of Parliament and Secretariat from the Parliament of Uganda. The delegation is in the Senate on a courtesy call to the Senator for Nairobi City County, Senator Edwin Sifuna, MP. I request each member of the delegation to stand when called out so that you may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. Honorable Betty Namboze, Member of Parliament, Mukono Municipality. Honorable Ivan Yeyune, Member of Parliament, Nakasongola Constituency. Honorable Moses Musanje Lukanga, Member of Parliament, Njeru Municipality. Honorable Loluk Fidelis Logwe, Member of Parliament, Napore West County. Honorable Kansiime Anna, Women Member of Parliament, Ruampara District. Honorable Ibrahim Aisu, Member of Parliament, Palisa County. Ms. Mutekanga Jacqueline, Clerk Committee on PSC and Local Government. Ms. Ampeire Ameria, Personal Assistant to Honorable Namboze. Honorable Senators, on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to you and wish you a fruitful visit in the Senate. I thank you. Senator Sifuna, would you like to say a word of welcome to the delegation in under 1 minute?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Indeed, on behalf of the Senate, I am very proud to say that I was honored this morning to receive this delegation from largely the NUP party that is led by Comrade Bobi Wine in Uganda. The Honorable Betty Namboze is actually the chair of the Accountability Committee when it comes to local government in Uganda. And I was very honored to receive her and her delegation. We have shared quite a lot. As you know, Honorable Speaker, Uganda remains one of our largest export markets. I think the latest numbers we're seeing, we're doing upwards of $951 million per year in terms of the export from Kenya to Uganda. And of course, we have very close ties, Honorable Speaker. There are many communities along the Kenya-Uganda border that inhabit both Kenya and Uganda. The Luos, of course, we have our friends, the Kalenjins, who also inhabit both countries. We have the Teso community as well, and many others. And we share a very close bond as residents of East Africa. I want to take this opportunity to welcome them not just to Nairobi and to Kenya. We have very difficult political circumstances in the region, Honorable Speaker. But our hope and our prayer is that we will continue to be brothers and sisters as Kenyans and Ugandans. Your problems are our problems, because if there is something that the COVID pandemic taught us, and even the threat right now to the whole globe of Ebola, is that we are all one family. And what happens in Uganda matters to us. What happens in Kenya matters to you. What happens in Dar es Salaam happens to matter to all of us. And I take this opportunity to wish you well, to send my greetings to my brother, Bobi Wine. I know he's in exile in the US. Tell him that he has friends. He has friends, although we might not be we might not be in a position to affect the affairs of your country. But there is a dawn that is coming, especially for those of us who believe in democracy, the rule of law, and the supremacy of our people. So I thank you, Honorable Speaker. I welcome them to savor all the nice things in Nairobi. Let them have a piece of nyamachoma. I have had Luombo in Kampala, although these days I'm not very welcome there. But we are hoping that our people will remain united and that we will offer hope and support to each other. And Senator Mazzayo is also...
Order, Senator Mazzayo and Senator Omogeni. Conclude, Senator Sifuna, in welcoming this talk team.
Just gone off, Speaker, if I can have the mic back. There are members of this House who have a very strong feelings about Uganda, and especially about some of the close relations that we have with the people of Kampala and Uganda generally. So I'm hoping that Senator Mazzayo will get opportunity to express what he is whispering to me himself, because I might get into a lot of trouble, Mr. Speaker, but I want to stop there. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Once again, the members of Parliament from Uganda, you are welcome to the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. Enjoy your stay here, and you can extend beyond the weekend. Senator Omogeni, Senior Counsel.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, before I read my statement, I'm happy to see my colleagues from the Parliament of Uganda. Last time we had a delegation here, Mr. Speaker. I had the privilege of hosting the delegation for dinner, I think accompanied by Senator Faki and Senator Mundigi in my house here in Nairobi. So this is a very good cooperation between our two countries. I'm happy that today it is my friend Senator Mazzayo who is extending that courtesy, and that's how it should be. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, the Livestock and Fisheries on a matter of national concern regarding moisture content deductions from being imposed on farmers by tea factories. Mr. Speaker, sir, moisture content deductions are reductions in the recorded weight or value of agricultural produce on the basis of alleged excess water content. In a circular dated 9th of July 2026, the Tea Board of Kenya declared the deductions of alleged surface or systematic moisture from green tea delivered by factories to be illegal, fraudulent, and a malpractice. Noting that Section 21 of the Green Leaf Quality Guidelines of 22nd January 2026 already provides for natural moisture variations through a green leaf to made tea conversion ratio of 20 to 24%, depending on prevailing weather conditions. The Tea Board therefore prohibited such deductions and warned that any factory engaging in the practice would face legal action. Mr. Speaker, sir, despite this directive, some fraudulent tea factories, particularly in the counties of Nyamira and Kisii, continue to unlawfully deduct approximately 0.5 kilograms from every delivery of green leaf tea, unfairly reducing farmers' earnings and undermining confidence in the tea value chain. In the statement, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee should address the following. Number one, a county-by-county breakdown of the number of tea factories affected, the tea factories involved, the quantity of green leaf subjected to moisture content deductions, the estimated financial losses that has been incurred by farmers, and the period during which the deductions have been made. Second, Mr. Speaker, the committee should inquire into the regulatory, administrative, or disciplinary action taken against the responsible factory management and directors who continue to impose the deductions contrary to Section 21 of the Green Leaf Quality Guidelines. 3, the committee should inquire the measures being undertaken by the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, the Tea Board of Kenya, and other relevant agencies to compensate or reimburse affected farmers for any unlawful deductions and to ensure immediate cessation of the practice in all tea growing regions. Number 4, Mr. Speaker, the committee should inquire into the amount of green leaf tea deducted from farmers on account of the weight assigned to an empty green leaf tea collection bag. Finally, Mr. Speaker, the committee should inquire into the long-term policy, regulatory and oversight measures being implemented to strengthen transparency and accountability in the weighing, grading, and payment of green leaf, protect tea farmers from unlawful deductions, and ensure full compliance with the law by all tea factories and their management. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, I have another statement. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration on the matter of national concern regarding the transparency, fairness, and integrity of the recruitment process, particularly in light of reports that the candidate ranked first by the Board of the Technical and Vocational Education and Training Authority was not appointed. In the statement, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee should address the following. 1, the criteria, justification, and legal basis upon which Dr. Wanyeki Paul Machocho was appointed as the Director General of TVETA, notwithstanding that Moriasi Arabu Josia had been recommended by the TVET board as the top-ranked candidate following a competitive recruitment process. Second, Mr. Speaker, the committee should provide a comprehensive account of the recruitment and appointment process, including the number of applicants, the shortlisted candidates, the interview and evaluation criteria, the scores attained by each of the shortlisted candidates, the recommendations made by the board, the names submitted to the head of public service, and indicate whether the process complied with the Constitution, the Technical and Vocational Education and Training Act, the State Corporations Act, the Public Service Commission Act, and the applicable government guidelines governing the appointment of chief executive officers and head of state corporations, giving reasons for any departures from the prescribed procedure. 3, the committee should state whether the appointing authority departed from the recommendations of the board, and if so, provide the legal and policy justification for appointing a candidate other than the one ranked first, including whether the board's recommendation was rejected, varied, or set aside, and if so, under what authority. 4, clarify whether any complaints, petitions, appeals, or court proceedings were lodged regarding the recruitment or appointment process, and if so, provide their status and the measures taken to address the issues raised. Finally, outline the measures the ministry responsible for technical and vocational education have put in place to safeguard the independence, transparency, meritocracy, and accountability of recruitment process for senior leadership positions in state corporation, and to prevent similar concerns from arising in future appointments. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kajwang, Senator Abdul, and Senator Chimera. There is a consultation room behind the chair. If you must consult, you may retreat to that particular room which is provided for you. Senator Hamida Kibwana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My first statement is on preparedness to host the 2026 Women's African National Volleyball Championship. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare on a matter of a nationwide concern regarding Kenya's preparedness to host the 2026 Women's African Nations Volleyball Championship, scheduled to take place in Nairobi from 23rd August to 5th September 2026 at the Kasarani Indoor Arena and Ulinzi Sports Complex. Mr. Speaker, sir, hosting this prestigious continental championship presents Kenya with a unique opportunity to showcase its sporting excellence strengthen sports, tourism, and reaffirm its position as a leading sporting nation in Africa. It is therefore important that in the country is adequately prepared to deliver a successful tournament. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the state of preparedness of the Kasarani Indoor Arena and Ulinzi Sports Complex, including the status of renovation and upgrading works, compliance with international hosting standards, and confirmation of the readiness to host the championship. Number 2, the funding, technical and logistical support provided to the national women's volleyball team, the Malkia Strikers, including allocations for training camps, player welfare, coaching and technical staff, equipment, sports science and medical support, and any other preparedness undertaken to enhance the team's competitiveness. Number 3, the arrangements to facilitate the successful hosting of the championship, including accommodation, transport, security, medical and emergency services, immigration and accreditation processes, volunteer management, and other logical support to participating teams, officials, media personnel, and spectators. Number 4, the government strategy to marketing, broadcasting, and promoting the championship, including partnership with media houses and sponsors, public awareness initiatives, fan engagement programs, and measures to maximize attendance, tourism, investment opportunities, and the overall economic impact of the event. Finally, the legacy program to be implemented following the championship, including measures to promote women's volleyball, strengthen youth talent development, enhance coaching and officiating capacity, improve sports infrastructure, and leverage the championship to support the long-term growth and sustainability of volleyball in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, my second statement is on gaps in the regulation and enforcement of pesticide safety in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Auditor General released a performance audit report on the regulation of pesticides in Kenya on 31st July 2026. The report has established that hazardous, expired, counterfeit, and unregistered continue to circulate in the Kenya market, exposing consumers, farmers, and the environment to serious harm. The audit further found that the Pest Control Products Board, PCPB, had only 64 officers against an approved establishment of 267, constraining inspections, enforcement, scientific surveillance, and public education. Mr. Speaker, sir, the audit also established that all inspections of premises handling pesticides increased from 6,322 in the year 2021-2022 financial year to 11,150 in the year 2024-2025 financial year. The increased inspections had not resulted in a corresponding reduction in the sale of illegal products. Seizure of expired, counterfeit, and unregistered pesticides increased during the same period, while some businesses continued to operate despite prosecutions and repeated violations. Further, weaknesses were identified in follow-up inspections, corrective action, with more than half of sampled agro dealers receiving no follow-up visit with an initial inspection. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the findings and recommendations of the Auditor General's performance audit on the regulation of pest control products and the action taken by the government and the PCPB to implement them. Number 2, the current staffing establishment of the PCPB, including the distribution of officers across its regional offices, The reasons only 64 of the approved 267 positions were filled during the audit period, and measures to address the staffing deficit. Number 3, the reasons: the increase in inspections from 6,322 premises in the 2021-2022 financial year to 11,150 in the 2024-2025 financial year did not reduce the sale of illegal pesticides, stating the quantities and categories of expired, counterfeit, unregistered, and other unauthorized pest control products seized during the audit period and how they were disposed of. Number 4, the enforcement action taken against agro-dealers and other businesses found selling illegal pesticides, including prosecutions, convictions, and the suspensions to or revocation of operating certificates, and measures to ensure timely follow-up inspection and effective trafficking of corrective action by regional offices. Finally, the measures put in place to strengthen pesticide residue surveillance in food, educate farmers and agro-dealers on authorized pest control products and safe pesticide use, and enhance coordination among relevant agencies to prevent hazardous and unauthorized pesticides from entering the food, the food chain. Mr. Speaker, kindly allow me to read the last one. Regarding 22.5 billion capitation shortfall in public secondary schools. Mr. Speaker, sir. Excuse me. Sorry. Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Education on a matter of a national importance concerning the reports the Kenya Secondary School Heads Association of Kenya shillings 22.5 billion capitation shortfall affecting public secondary schools across the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, the shortfall has led to delayed and incomplete disbursement of funds, leaving the schools indebted, struggling to meet operational costs and facing uncertainty as learners prepare for the final term and national examinations. There is growing concern that parents may be compelled to shoulder costs meant to be covered by government capitation, thereby undermining affordable education. In the statement, I should address the following. 1, the total capitation allocation of the current financial year, the amount disbursed, and the outstanding balance. Number 2, the reasons for the Kenya shillings 22.5 billion shortfall and delays in increasing funds. Number 3, the extent of debts incurred by schools due to the funding gap. Finally, the measures being taken by government to release outstanding funds promptly, preventing future delays and safeguard parents from increased fees or disruption of learning and administration of national examination. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Hamida. Senator Mandago and your crew of Senator Kinyua and Senator Joyce, the restlessness you are exhibiting today is inviting the Speaker to call you to order. If you must consult, I have directed, consult in low tones, because the rest of the members would want to concentrate on what's going on in the chamber. So take note, Senator Kinyua. Statements pass one to Standing Order 57-1, Senate Majority Leader. Senator Montet, I had dropped your statement earlier on because I called out you are not in the chamber. Nonetheless, proceed to read your statement. Shortly thereafter, the leader Majority will read his statement, pass one to Standing Order 57.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm seeking a statement on the costs incurred by customers for replacement of prepaid electricity meters in the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee of Energy on a matter of nationwide concern regarding the costs being imposed on electricity consumers in the country for the replacement of prepaid electricity meters. Mr. Speaker, according to the Kenya Power and Lighting Company, KPLC, Customer Service Center, faulty prepaid electricity meters should be replaced at a utility provider's cost, particularly where the fault arises from a normal wear or internal failure. However, KPLC is recovering the cost of replacing such meters, both faulty and periodically replaced ones, directly from the prepaid token purchases. These deductions are made without prior disclosure to customers, and the charges are not communicated at the time of replacement. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number one, whether there exists a legal framework governing the replacement of prepaid electricity meters, including the protection of customers against undisclosed charges. Number two, methods employed by the Kenya Power and Lighting Company to recover costs associated with meter replacements, and whether these methods comply with the regulatory standards and customer rights. Number three, the justification provided by the KPLC for recovering such cost from prepaid token purchases, particularly in cases where the meter is faulty due to normal wear and tear or failure. The strategy, number four, the strategy used by KPLC to appraise customers about geographical coverage, replacement programs, and associated costs, including whether adequate notice and disclosure are provided. And lastly, the measures in place to ensure customer protection, transparency in billing, and timely resolution of complaints arising from hidden deductions during token purchases. Senator Betty Montet, nominated senator. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Now, Senate Majority Leader, Senator Lelengwe. You can use the, okay, you now have the mic.
Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Standing Order 53-1, I hereby present the business for the week commencing Tuesday, 8 September 2026. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me begin by expressing my gratitude to all honorable senators for the tremendous work done during part 4 of this session. The Senate considered and passed the following business. Bills. The Heritage and Museums Bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2023, the Statutory Instrument Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 10 of 2024, the Environmental Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 10 of 2024, the Environmental Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 23 of 2024, the Sports Amendment Bill number 2, Senate Bills number 45-24, the Public Audit Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 4 of 2024, the County Hall of Fame, Senate Bills number 18 of 2023, and the County Oversight and Accountability Bill, Senate Bills number 3 of 2024. On motions, provision of IFMIS reports for the county governments to the Senate. On petitions, reports of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on the consideration of to the Senate by Mr. Laban Omusundi regarding the enactment of legal framework to provide for recall for the President or a Governor through a citizen initiative, and report of the Standing Committee on Health on petition to the Senate by Mr. Patrick Masilu and others concerning protection and propagation of commercialization generation Mudea antivenom in Kenya. 3, Mr. Speaker, sir, I urge honorable senators to keep up with the same spirit in part 4 of the session in order to conclude on business pending in the Senate. Sorry, Mr. Speaker, sir, I take again. I urge honorable senators to keep up with the same spirit in part 5 of the session in order to conclude on business pending in the Senate. Mr. Speaker, sir, in line with the Speaker's communication on the message from the National Assembly on the passage of the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2026, later this afternoon, the Senate is set to consider the National Assembly Amendment Bill, amendments to the bill. This is a very crucial financial instrument that determines allocation of additional funds to counties. I therefore urge honorable senators to remain in the chamber so that we can conclude on this matter. Mr. Speaker, sir, the status of legislative business is as follows. 53 bills are pending conclusion, which 37 are at second reading, 19 are at the committee of the whole, and 1 is awaiting first reading. 18 motions are pending conclusion. 23 petitions are pending before respective standing committees, out of which 18 are due for reporting, and 587 statements pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 are under consideration by committees. Mr. Speaker, sir, at the next sitting of the Senate on Tuesday, 8th September 2026, the tentative business for the day will include business not concluded from today's order paper, as well as the business indicated in the notice paper. The tentative business for the morning sitting on Wednesday, 9th September 2026, will include questions to Cabinet Secretaries as approved by the Senate Business Committee, as well as motions. The questions scheduled are those to the following Cabinet Secretaries. 1, Ministry of Roads and Transport. 2, Ministry of Cooperatives and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development. Mr. Speaker, sir, the tentative business for the afternoon sitting on Wednesday, 9th September 2026 will include business not concluded from Tuesday's order paper and the following. Bills of the Committee of the Whole, the Health Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 12 of 2025, Sports Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 33 of 2024, the Agricultural Produce Minimum Guaranteed Returns, Senate Bills number 17 of 2025, the National Construction Authority Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 15 of 2025, the Environmental Management and Coordination Amendment Bill, Senate National Assembly Bills number 66 of 2023, the OTSIM Management Bill, Senate Bills number 19 of 2025, the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 14 of 2025, and the Community Health Promoters Bill, National Assembly Bill number 53 of 2022. Projected business for Tuesday, 10 September 2026 will include business not concluded on Wednesday, 9th September 2026, and any other business scheduled for the Senate Business Committee. In conclusion, as honorable senators are aware, the Senate is scheduled to proceed on recess at rise of the business today. At rise of the Senate today, the Thursday, 6th August 2026, in accordance with the Senate calendar. I therefore take this opportunity to wish honorable members a restful recess as you take time to interact with constituents and reconnect with friends and relatives. I look forward to seeing you in September with renewed energy for the task that remains ahead. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I hereby table on the table of the Senate this statement on behalf of Senator Aaron Cheriot, EGH MP, Senate Majority Leader. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Dr. Lengwe. Now, Honorable Senators, you recall that earlier on I made a communication from the National Assembly with certain directions, including directives to the Committee on Finance, and I will therefore reorganize the order paper so that we deal with other issues, including petition and papers, and there will be a supplementary order paper that will be circulated. You will equally have it in your gadgets for purposes of that communication from the National Assembly. And therefore, Clerk, I'll ask you call out order number 4.
Order number 4, petitions.
Senator Lelengwe.
Mr. Speaker, the petition on the review of Mount Nyiro forest boundaries, human settlement, livelihoods, and historical land injustices in Samburu County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I read the petition. We, the undersigned residents and citizens of Kenya residing within Mount Nyiro area of Samburu County, through the Office of the Senator for Samburu County, Senator Lelegwe Tumbesi, I draw the attention of the Senate on the following. 1, that Mount Nyiro forest situated within Samburu County, situated within Samburu North Sub-County in Samburu County, is a government gazetted forest and recognized national water tower, gazetted in the year 1956 during the colonial administration period. 2, that the forest occupies approximately 45,193 hectares of land and serves as an important ecological, cultural, and environmental resource for the people of Samburu County and the nation at large. 3, that the forests and the surrounding mountain areas hold deep cultural, spiritual, and traditional significance to the Samburu community, including sacred cultural sites such as Kosi Shrine, which forms part of the community's heritage and identity. 4, that the current forest boundary perimeter extends approximately 120 kilometers around the foot of the mountain, with an additional 4 kilometers cut line established as a protective zone for water catchment areas and valuable trees species. 5, that the top line area covering approximately 9,797 hectares acts as a buffer zone between human settlement, livestock, grazing areas, and the protected forest ecosystem. That the population residing around the Mount Nyiro area has significantly increased over the years and currently comprises approximately 41,893 residents. B, 23,953 cattle, heads of cattle. C, 28,980 goats. D, 4,654 camels. E, 3,225 donkeys. And F, an increasing wildlife population competing for the same ecological resources. 7, that since the gazettement of Mount Nyiro Forest in 1956, the population within the surrounding areas has significantly increased, leading to the establishment and expansion of permanent human settlements and critical public infrastructure along the forest boundaries, including schools, homes, churches, health facilities, administrative offices, roads, and electricity infrastructure necessary for socioeconomic development and public service delivery. 8, that the continued growth of the population and social amenities within the area demonstrate the evolving settlement realities and development needs of the local communities, hereby necessitating a balanced review of land use, conservation boundaries, and human settlement planning to promote sustainable ecosystem coexistence between environmental conservation and community livelihoods. 9, that the growing human population coupled with increased livestock numbers and changing settlement patterns has exerted immense pressure on available settlement land, grazing areas, water access, and social infrastructure within the region. 10, that the residents contend that the gazettement and establishment of Mount Nyiro forest boundaries in 1956 occurred during colonial administration without adequate public participation, community consultation, or informed consent of the indigenous residents who historically occupied and utilized the land. 11, that the petitioners believe that the continued reliance on colonial era administrative boundaries without periodic review has contributed to land pressure, settlement challenges, and recurring conflicts between conservation objectives and community livelihood needs. 12, that the petitioners are concerned that the failure to review, harmonize the forest boundaries, settlements, zones, and conservation policies may adversely affect peaceful coexistence, sustainable development, food security, public service expansion, settlement security, and socio-economic livelihoods within the area. 13, that failure to address the challenging demographic and infrastructural realities surrounding Mount Nyiro Forest may continue to create uncertainty over land use, settlement security, public service expansion, and future development planning within the affected area. That the Constitution of Kenya 2010 recognizes the principles of public participation, equitable protection of marginalized communities, historical land injustices, environmental conservation, and sustainable utilization of natural resources under Article 10, 27, 42, 56, 60, 63, 67, 69, and 174. 15, that the issues raised in this petition are not pending before any court of law, tribunal, or constitutional body. 16, that the petitioners have made every effort to have the matters addressed by the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Climate Change, the National Land Commission, and the Ministry of Lands, but no satisfactory response has been received to date. Wherefore, your humble petitioners pray to the Senate. 1, inquires into the historical establishment, gazettement, and current status of the Mount Nyiro forest boundaries and buffer zones. 2, facilitate a comprehensive intergovernmental review of existing forest boundaries arrangements, settlement patterns, and land utilization within Mount Nyiro area. 3, recommends structural public participation involving residents, conservation, county government, cultural leaders, and national government regarding any proposed boundary review or settlement planning. 4, recommend an independent environmental and economic effects of current phase on human settlement, grazing, water access, livelihoods, and public infrastructure. 5, recommends consideration of the 4-kilometer cut line area for harmonized community settlement and controlled land use planning while safeguarding critical water catchment and ecological zones. 6, recommends measures to address historical land injustices arising from colonial era forest gazettement processes that excluded indigenous community participation. 7, recommends development of sustainable coexistence of framework balancing environmental conservation, water tower protection, wildlife preservation, and infrastructural development and the socio-economic rights of local communities. 8, recommends establishment of clear policies for settlement planning, grazing management, infrastructure development, and environmental conservation within Mount Nyiro and surrounding areas, and make any other recommendation or take any action it deems fit in interest of the environmental sustainability, historical justice, peace, coexistence, infrastructural development, and livelihoods in Samburu County. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator. take the nearest seat from where you are, or cross over to your seat. Now, Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 238-1, I commit the petition to the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources for consideration. In terms of Standing Order 238-2A, the committee is required in not more than 60 calendar days from the time of reading the prayer to table its report in the Senate for consideration. The Senate shall thereafter consider the report of the committee. I thank you. So, Clerk, you will order number 5 for purposes of Senator Faki to table the paper.
Order number 5.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to table the report of the Standing Committee on Finance, Budget and Budget.
Kikuyus, Erus, Embus. With the social fabric of our nation. To poison the people on ethnic basis, Honorable Speaker, and I think the people of Kenya now know him better. And I am glad last night I saw the Honorable Munya vindicate this assembly for having impeached the former deputy president. And Munya actually indicated that he is indeed a bully. He is now bullying them in the opposition.
Member Fondia, what is out of order?
Honorable Speaker, I have had my leader, majority leader, mention Honorable Gachagua, and I'm seated here with Honorable Gachagua, and he's complaining that he has nothing to do with such utterances. Please clarify.
I think Honorable GK, the member you're seated next to, would have protested. He knows it is not him. But
Honorable Speaker, it is good to note that that name now should not be used in this parliament as Honorable Gachagua. He is Rigathi, not Gachagua, Honorable Gachagua. Thank you.
Majority Leader.
My apologies, Honorable Speaker. I in no way wanted to refer to the member for Daragwa. The good Honorable Gachagua. Gachagua, the good one. I meant the former deputy president, the quarter-term deputy president, and one-term member of parliament for Madeira, Mr. Rigathi. And I was saying, Honorable Speaker, Mr. Rigathi purported that members of this house under Honorable Nelson Koech were demanding 3 billion shillings from the government of the UK to ratify this agreement. Allow me, Honorable Speaker, in a very profound manner, to thank our former Speaker, the immediate former Speaker, the Honorable J.B. Muturi. Because the Honorable J.B. Muturi, despite him being in the opposition, stood for the truth. And he stood out to set the record straight. And he spoke for the people of Mount Kenya and the people of Laikipia. And averred, just as the committee has illustrated today, that the committee and this House declined to approve the DCA as it were, without reservations, for very good reasons. And I would want Rigathi to tell the people of Laikipia whom he purports to speak for, as much as he speaks for nobody. How right is it that the family of the late Agnes Wanjiru continues to suffer and seek for justice, and they cannot find it, Honorable Speaker, because the UK government has refused to ratify the reservations that this House, under the able leadership of members of the Committee of Defense and Foreign Relations, put. And those reservations, Honorable Speaker, you know, because you're a member of that committee, together with our Deputy Minority Whip, you know they are well-deserved reservations. Murder was excluded. the committee brought in the offense of murder. Honorable Speaker, when this report, when the DCA came in 2021, September of 2021, Rigathi was serving his first term as Member of Parliament for Madeira. He was seated in this house. And he spoke in this house, Honorable Speaker, in one of the rare occasions he spoke. He said that the house must protect local communities. That is what the house did. We sought to protect local communities. Those members who come from Laikipia will tell you there are people who have been maimed by landmines left in the ground by these forces as they train in the jungles. And pastoralists, as they graze the animals, either the animals or individuals are blown away by landmines. Those are some of the issues that were raised. Honorable Speaker, I have had, not since I became leader of majority, I have had at least 2 engagements with the High Commissioner of the UK in my office here. And in no uncertain terms, I have told the High Commissioner the reservations that were raised by the House must be addressed by the UK government. And they must be addressed without exception. Agnes Wanjiru must get her right posthumously. The committee sought that if there are violations of human rights, the people must be compensated. The Kenya Human Rights Commission submitted before the committee that there are indeed grave human rights violations against the people of Laikipia and neighboring counties by the British forces. And they must be held to account. What problem does Rigathi have with the people of Mount Kenya being protected from our former colonial masters? We are no longer a slave of the UK kingdom. We are not. Kenya is not a colony. And the people of Laikipia, the people of Samburu, must not continue to live as if Kenya or the area they come from is part of the British protectorate, the former British protectorate. We are a sovereign nation and we are elected by members of the public to speak and represent them. And that is what the Committee of Defense and Foreign Relations has sought to do, and by extension this House, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, fast forward, last week, as the Chair has averred in his statement, the National Police Service has given us an update of the grave violations that have been committed against the people in Laikipia by these forces. And indeed, they are talking about a case now that they are now currently investigating, one case of defilement. I want Rigathi Gachagua to again look at the people of Laikipia and tell them that it is okay for our young children to be defiled by foreign soldiers. I want Rigathi Gachagua to tell those 20 people whose cases of rape are being investigated that it is okay for the women in Laikipia to be raped. The 37 cases of gang rape, grievous criminal acts. Rigathi should tell the people of Laikipia that it is okay for women in Laikipia and young girls to be gang raped, and this House should just approve and rubber stamp that DCA. I want to reinstate, Honorable Speaker, what we have told the UK government, that we shall never in the National Assembly of Kenya ratify anything that will violate the rights of Kenyans. We are here to represent people, not animals. Honorable Speaker, what Rigathi said deserves to be dismissed with the contempt it deserves. But if we remain quiet, Honorable Speaker, his perpetual lies tends to look like the truth. And that is why I must thank the chair of this committee for setting the record straight, and that is why even yesterday, when he sought to perpetuate other untruths, I requested the chair of the National Security Committee to also table a list, and I'm sure he's going to table it. He had shown me that list, to show that we have a dangerous person in this country who wants to destroy the social fabric of our nation, who wants to see bloodshed in our country, and who will say anything and everything that will destroy our nation. We have a duty, despite our various political opinions, to protect life as leaders. And indeed, I want to take this opportunity, Honorable Speaker, to plead with all of us. In the run-up to the elections, whatever we say, let us say what unites, not what will pit one community against the other. I know Rigathi because I worked with him. And I have kept saying I have absolutely no regret to have voted to impeach Rigathi Gachagua because he remains an existential threat to this country, its unity, and the peace of our peace-loving citizens. Honorable Speaker, as leaders, let us be cautious of what we say. I was asking Honorable Speaker what the member for Mukureni said in Kieni the other day. Just extrapolate that and move Honorable Kagushia from what he said and assume that had been said by Oscar Sudi in Kapsaret. What will we be saying today? We must be cautious of what we say as leaders. Because you tell people to go for others under their beds, and they will literally do it. Because they think what you are telling them is the right thing. And we must continue to condemn these utterances, even when they come from our colleagues. And I will say, even if a member of UDA or ODM in the broad-based government says what is unpalatable and what is bound to lead to bloodshed, I will condemn it. I will condemn it. I hear the member for Embakasi West asking me Duale. And I was away out of the country, Honorable Speaker, when Duale used what he described as figurative language. And we are very quick to condemn what has been said. And the following day, Rigathi Gachagua stands in public and says, kill nyoka na mayai yake. And it is okay when he says, I was only using figurative language. If figurative language is right for Rigathi, it must be right for Duale. If figurative language is wrong for Duale, it must be wrong for Kagushia, it must be wrong for Rigathi Gachagua, it must be wrong for Kimani Ichung'wah. If we are using figurative language, let us not use figurative language that can be misinterpreted. That when you say nyoka na mayai yake, you are saying people to be killed. Honorable Speaker, let me end it there, but thank the Defense and Foreign Relations for being true patriots and members of this House, for being true patriots, staying true to our calling to represent the people and defend them in line with our Constitution. And I thank the chair of this committee and the Foreign Relations Committee because they have said they shall not approve the ratification of a treaty or part of its provisions that are contrary to our Constitution, nor shall the House approve a reservation to a treaty or part of it if that reservation negates any provision of the Constitution, even if the preservation is permitted under the relevant treaty. Therefore, what the reservations that were sought to be included, to include crimes that were not covered, that it is not okay for a British soldier to rape, to kill, and get away with it because they'll be protected under the treaty. You did the right thing, and do not be intimidated by those ethnic bigots who want to intimidate you, Honorable Koech. Don't allow them to profile you on the basis of your ethnicity, because he was very deliberate to target Honorable Nelson Koech because of where he comes from. Honorable Speaker, I beg to support.
Honorable members, there cannot be a point of order at this point. Honorable members, I know this is an emotive issue. I have given Majority Leader quite some time, but honorable members note that we are still on statements at 4 p.m., so we will limit our time as we move ahead. And I say that because I've been a part of this process with the chairperson and the Defense Intelligence Committee. The report that we submitted is public. It is in this House. So is this statement that has very well enumerated the issues that were in that report and given the background of how far and why we took the decision that we took. and it is for a good cause. Honorable members, before I give the next speaker, allow me to recognize in the speakers gallery learners and teachers from Bambino Academy, Kilifi South, Kilifi County. They are seated up there. Then in the public gallery, we have ACK Emmanuel School from Bere North, Embu County. They are welcome to observe the proceedings of the House. I will now give the member for Laikipia, Honorable Jane Kagiri, because I know the committee visited that area. The leaders came out and gave their views. The public came. Human rights, we have spoken to almost every stakeholder. So I will give you as a local leader to give your input, and I'll give you 3 minutes. Kindly keep it short.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute to this discussion. Honorable Speaker, I'll start by thanking the Defense and Foreign Relations Committee for a job that was well done. Honorable Speaker, I've always heard that this house is a house of records, but I want to appreciate that when you came to Laikipia County, you listened to the people, took down their complaints, and when it came to presenting the report, you did it very well in this house. Honorable Speaker, that said, it actually makes me very concerned and very worried when I hear a past leader in this country speak of people having asked for bribes for them to renew the contract and the agreement, whereas, Honorable Speaker, we are speaking about a life of Agnes Wanjiru, a life that Laikipians keep demanding that the guilty must be convicted and charged, yet 14 years later, the killer still walks free in the streets of UK, untouched and undone nothing. Honorable Speaker, when I was sworn in this house, I was sworn in to protect and represent the people of Laikipia County. Laikipia County is not a county of a lesser god. When it comes to discussing death in this country, the death in Laikipia County it's not a case that is to be discussed. In fact, it is trivialized to an issue of bribes and money that should be collected or not collected. Honorable Speaker, I'll give an example. In the year 2025 in May, there is a judge by the name Justice Lucy Mugambe, who was convicted in the UK because she had been exploiting a lady as a slave in her house. Honorable Speaker, she was charged and convicted and imprisoned for 6 years. Honorable Speaker, we can't say one way Africans are treated differently and another way when it comes to the white people, we treat them differently. Honorable Speaker, my statement here is we stand and we stop at anybody who commits a crime in Kenya must be convicted in Kenya, tried in Kenya, and justice must be delivered in this country. Honorable Speaker, this conversation leads me to asking myself, for very many years, Laikipians have been killed by cattle rustlers, they've been attacked, and nobody spoke about it. Today, Honorable Speaker, when I hear people speak of how much they love the people of Laikipia County, I am forced to wonder, is it the love that they've discovered Laikipians are there today? Were they not there when Agnes Wanjiru was murdered to know that they should have spoken about her death? Honorable Speaker, it is Laikipia's time to be respected, treated equally, and treated as a part of this country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. Member for Tetu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have listened to the chair, and I indeed support the report on its merit, that as a country we have to do everything that it takes to safeguard our territorial integrity, the rights of our people. But, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, this motion is taking a sad turn, or a very unnecessary and irrelevant turn. And Honorable Speaker, whether one agrees with Honorable Gachagua or not, for me is completely irrelevant to the question before the House. The issue that the chair is raising is whether the agreement adequately safeguards Kenya's sovereignty, whether it ensures justice for victims, whether it protects the interests of communities, and whether it protects the livelihoods of those people in Laikipia, who, by the way, a lot of them have lost jobs and contracts, and everything has to be weighed. Madam Speaker, in this House, I wish to raise a concern. The Honorable Gachagua is becoming almost like a motion, because even if we are debating water, the person debating issues to do with water somehow goes around everything. And instead of dealing with the issues affecting
water in this country starts blaming Honorable Gachagua maybe for water shortage somewhere in Eldoret. When there's a power outage, the person, instead of addressing power outage issues and how we can improve efficiency of power, goes around a debate and finds Honorable Gachagua in this. Now, what I would like to tell this House, and you are doing a good job, because me, I'm a follower of Honorable Gachagua. We are just amplifying him and improving his national importance. Let us debate issues. Honorable Gachagua is on record being a truthful man. And you know, in the past, Madam Speaker, if you can add me half a second, you know, they say if Honorable Gachagua, they say if Honorable Gachagua tells you,
there is a point of order. Honorable GK.
Honorable Speaker, my good friend Tetu MP keeps reminding us that he's a follower of Honorable Gachagua, the former Deputy President. But we also hear many of us followers of Dr. William Ruto, and you keep mentioning him in your meetings and your rallies. Is it proper to state that it's unfair to keep mentioning your leader, and it's unfair to us when you keep mentioning our leader? So we please be balanced, and if you are uncomfortable with us mentioning your leader,
you have made your point,
also,
Honorable GK.
Balance out.
You've made your point. Your time is almost up, Member for Tetu.
Speaker, I think what GK is raising is very important. GK is saying the right thing. If you can protect me just a bit, I finish.
Hold on.
Honorable Speaker, you know the Honorable member for Tetu, Honorable Wandeto, who is a member of my church, is misleading the nation. That we are here discussing Rigathi Gachagua. We have no time to discuss Rigathi Gachagua. What we are doing as a House is setting the record straight on the untruths and the lies perpetuated by the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. And the fact that is being mentioned because he's the one who averred out there that the Honorable Nelson Koech was demanding 3 billion shillings from a foreign government to ratify DCA agreement that is not even ratified by the Honorable Nelson Koech. It is this House. And it is okay, Honorable Tetu, member for Tetu, to follow that man. But I would advise you, please follow the people of Tetu by working for them. Don't work for one person. Stop hiding behind people and parties to seek re-election. Deliver to the people of Tetu. Rigathi Gachagua will not get you re-elected if you don't work for the people of Tetu. Work for the people of Tetu.
You've made your point. Member for Tetu, you have 30 seconds.
Madam Speaker, let me finish. And I was agreeing with GK that actually it is completely unnecessary for us to drag any of the leaders into this, because this House is a house of debate. Now, mentioning whichever leader, that is something we do in political areas, and it is very and is correct. So all I was saying is that here, let us focus on the substantive issues. We are losing focus as a House. Regarding Gachagua, we are amplifying him here every day instead of us focusing on how we move. Then,
very well, member for Lamu East, I see you high on this. Are you not on this? Very well, Honorable Benzimba, you'll be the last one on this.
Asante sana Madam Speaker kunipa nafasi na mimi niweze kupenyeza sauti yangu. Kwanza niwapongeze kamati ya ulinzi kwa kusimama kidete kuleta heshima katika taifa hili, kwamba watu wasitumie urafiki ama uwezo wa taifa lao kuja kutukosea heshima ama kutofuata katiba katika taifa. Kwa hivyo lazima mimi nakubaliana na wao 100% kwamba mumesimama kidete kulinda heshima na haki ya Wakenya. Lazima wakiwa wako hapa wafuate kanuni na sheria za taifa hili kama vile tunavyokwenda kwao. Tukienda kwao, ukikosea kidogo hawasemi kwamba wewe ni Mkenya ukashtakiwe Kenya wala ufuatiliziwe kule, wanakushtakia pale pale. Kwa hivyo mimi nawakubalia na nawaheshimu sana, na sote tuko pamoja katika hiyo maamuzi ambayo mmefanya. Kuhusu watu wanaotoa uvumi kwenye mikutano ama mitandao, mimi nawaambia kitu kimoja. Tunaweza kuwa tofauti ya kisiasa, tunaweza tofautiana kisiasa, lakini taifa ni moja, hakuna Kenya ingine. Sisi wazee wetu wametuachia Kenya hali ilivyo sasa ya utulivu na amani, mpaka sasa tumekaa hapa. Na sisi pia tuna jukumu la kuhakikisha kwamba tunaleta amani. Wale watoto wetu na wajukuu zetu tuachie taifa ambalo liko na usalama na amani. Kwa hivyo mimi nakemea wote wanaotumia lugha mbaya chafu ambayo inaweza kuchochea machafuko ya taifa hili. Hatuna mahali pa kwenda. Majirani zetu Somalia hatuwezi kwenda, kuna matatizo. Hapa juu ukienda Ethiopia kuna shida. Ukienda hapa Southern Sudani balaa. Ukienda Tanzania hawezi kuturuhusu kuingia kwa sababu juzi tuliwatukana. Hawatakubali wa Kenya wende huko. Sasa tutaenda wapi? Isipokuwa taifa letu ni moja, tushikane kama wa Kenya licha kuwa tuna tofauti ya kitaifa ya kisiasa. Asante sana Madam Speaker.
Asante sana. Tutalifungia hilo hapo. Hapana, Honorable Rueda, nilikupa nafasi ukasema sio hilo. Just allow me, honorable members, like I directed, that we close that at that point and we go to the responses because there is still a lot of business ahead of us. Before the responses, we do the usual majority leader response.
Usual statement.
It's usual statement.
On behalf of the House Business Committee, pursuant to Standing Order 44-2A, Honorable Speaker, I rise to give the following statement. That with regard to business scheduled for next week, the House is expected to consider the following bills at various stages, some of which are listed in today's order paper, should they not be concluded today. A is the second reading of the following bills: the County Library Services Bill, Senate Bill number 40 of 2024, and 2, the County Assembly Services Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 34 of 2023. B is Committee of the Whole House on the Public Participation Bill of 2025, 2, the Plant Protection Bill of 2025, and the Business Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 51 of 2024. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, debate will be undertaken on the following motions, should they not also be concluded in the course of business today. 1, report on the audited financial statements of selected state corporations in the energy sector. 2, the third report on the status of reports on petitions and resolutions. 3, the 7th report on the audited financial statements for various funds. 4 is the 9th report on the audited financial statements for various state corporations. 5 is the 5th report on the status of reports on petitions and resolutions. 6 is consideration of sessional paper number 5 of 2026 on the National Petroleum Policy. And, sorry, Honorable Speaker, I'll take that again. Is consideration of sessional paper number 5 of 2026 on the National Energy Policy. 7 is consideration of sessional paper number 4 of 2026 on the National Petroleum Policy. And 8, interim report on the inquiry into the importation of raw sugar by Mombasa Sugar Refinery Limited. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, the House Business Committee shall reconvene again on Tuesday, 11th August 2026, to schedule business for the remainder of that week. I now wish to lay this statement on the table of the House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, before the next statement, as we had said earlier, there are very many learners visiting Parliament. Allow me to recognize Eldoret GK High School from Moiben, Uasin Gishu in the Speaker's Gallery. And in the public gallery, we have Kapkolei School from Nandi South, Nandi County. And we have Mulukusi School, Bere South, Embu County. And finally, Kienganguru School from Mara constituency, Tharakanithi County. We welcome them to observe the proceedings of the House. What is out of order, Mwenje?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise on Standing Order 42A5. Honorable Speaker, allow me to just read it. The Leader of Majority Party shall inform the House of the date, time, and order in which the Cabinet Secretaries shall appear to reply to questions and provide reports to the House and committees subject to paragraph 6. Now, Honorable Speaker, the reason why I'm raising this after the Majority Leader has read does the statement, because he sets the agenda, and I want to bring it to his attention that for two sessions now, when we are doing the budget cycle and now, so it's almost 2 months, that no Cabinet Secretary has appeared in this House, Honorable Speaker. These Cabinet Secretaries have a lot to answer. And Honorable Speaker, I want to bring it to the attention of the Majority Leader that you've allowed the Senate to take our role. I can inform him that the CS Lands was there. We saw Mbadi there the other day. Chirchir was there. Why is it? Is the majority leader protecting these cabinet secretaries from answering the very questions which include issues to do with criminality and goonism? We need Murkomen here. We need to understand why I think SHA is not working because Duale sees it is treating hyenas. That's why there's a problem. And so many other cabinet secretaries. So the majority leader must be called to answer why he is not allowing the House to conduct its oversight role to these cabinet secretaries. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You have made your point, and on this, Honorable Mwenje, I agree with you that the CSAs have taken quite some time. I know, like the issue of the disappearing children, the issue of hijackings that were to be discussed are still pending. If you hear what Honorable Tongo has said, the CS has still not been able to not only come to the floor, but even sit with the committee. So maybe you can give a way forward, because it should have been in your statement.
Honorable Speaker, it is true that during the budget cycle, understandably, we did not have the luxury of time on the usual Wednesday afternoons to be able to get cabinet secretaries here. But also, Honorable Speaker, the cabinet secretary was scheduled to appear before the House, because again, Honorable Mwenje knows it is not the majority leader who asks the cabinet secretaries to appear. It is members who ask questions. And I do not remember the Honorable Mwenje requesting for any question that requires any cabinet secretary. I was actually very keenly listening to him to hear if maybe when I was away, he may have requested for a question that needed to be answered by any particular cabinet secretary. He has not tabled any question. So I cannot just wake up one day and ask the Honorable Duale, or the Honorable Murkomen, or the Honorable CS for Lands, Alice Wahome, to appear before the House and answer what, if you have not asked the question. But for the members who have filed their questions, the week after next week, we have scheduled that there will be cabinet secretaries at least who will be coming to answer the questions that are already filed. So I would want to advise you, Honorable Mwenje, if you have any question, please file with the table office, and we will cause any cabinet secretary, including the prime cabinet secretary, to appear before the House. The last one who sent an apology was the prime cabinet secretary, because he was out of the country. Senate is just, they don't have a lot of work like us.
That is also true, Majority Leader, in terms of the filed questions. But if I remember last week, it was also raised at some point of pending questions. So I think maybe it's good to go through it so that we caused, yes, the ones that are filed, definitely. Not on the newspapers and not in the rally. They have to be in this House. KJ?
Madam Speaker, I want to agree with the Honorable Mark Mwenje and also take into cognizance what the Leader of Majority is saying. However, Madam Speaker, we are the people who are in control of this House, up to and including our standing orders. So, Madam Speaker, the suggestion I would have is that as we are proposing standing orders for the next Parliament, we'll have to make it so clear what manner of invites have to be made to Parliament, and especially about the roles, because we are finding instances where Senate is inviting members of the executive for roles that are not Senate roles. They are not devolved. They have nothing to do with devolved governments, so that we also retain the time for our ministers and our officials in government to be able to be in office to serve the country and deliver on their mandate, not to have them in the corridors of Parliament for entire weeks, jumping from one committee to another, so that then the roles of Senate will be clearly defined and their engagements with the executive will be clearly defined, and we shall also define what we need to do in Parliament for the people that ask questions to the executive. Madam Speaker, I think there is a role for us, even as we are reviewing our standing orders for the next Parliament, to get this right, because even the appearance of ministers has been a trial. We all know that this was not happening. This is the first House to attempt it. We have gotten our lessons. Let us put them now in law in our standing orders.
You have made your point, Honorable KJ, and just to inform the House, the amendments and proposal to amend the standing orders to serve 14th Parliament is already underway. The Rules and Procedure Committee, you can write to the clerk you can write to the Speaker, and it shall be debated and be considered for amendment. So let us not just complain that Senate is taking this and taking that, yet we have the control and we can do something about it. So the season is already here. Honorable members, let us go to the response of statements. We'll start with the administration. I know Honorable Tongoyo has gotten something urgent and has left, so this will be deferred. The one by David Mboni will be deferred to next Tuesday. The response by Honorable Mutunga, Agriculture Committee, are you ready for Honorable Lilian Sioi's question? Yes, you are. You have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to respond again to the statement by Honorable, the request for statement by Honorable Lilian Sioi concerning the shortage of fertilizer in Trans Nzoia County. Honorable Speaker, she wanted to know the causes of the ongoing shortage that time to top-dressing fertilizer at National Cereals and Produce Board depots in Trans Nzoia County. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry maintains that there was no national fertilizer shortage, stating that adequate stocks had been procured through framework contracts with multiple suppliers. And also, they say that the fertilizer redemption in Trans Nzoia increased during the 2026 long range compared to 2025, and they have given figures that in 2026, 571,186 bags, 50-kilogram bags of fertilizer were redeemed as compared to 544,408 bags in 2025. They also indicate that he also indicates that the planting fertilizer increased from 267,707 50-kilogram bags to 311,110 bags. And top-dressing fertilizer declined slightly from 276,701 to 260,076 bags. And they have given the reasons, Honorable Speaker, one of them being early onset of rains, accelerated demand for top-dressing fertilizer. Also, the deliveries were scheduled later than the action demand period, transport disruptions, higher fuel costs, especially for the last mile distribution, higher than anticipated demand in Trans Nzoia that particular period, and international shipping delays due to vessel rerouting through South Africa. The second issue, Honorable Speaker, that the honourable member pursued was to the minister to clarify the immediate measures that are being undertaken to ensure adequate and timely supply of fertilizer to farmers in Trans Nzoia County. And the ministry responds as follows: that there is increased fertilizer allocation in Trans Nzoia County from 571,186 bags to 650,000 bags in 2026-2027 season. And then there is also going to be expanded last mile distribution centers from the current 10 to 20. There will also be delivery of fertilizer directly to distribution centers to improve the farmers' access and improving logistics by using both road and rail transport for timely deliveries. The third issue that the honourable member pursued was she needed a report on the investigations into the alleged diversion of subsidized fertilizer intended for local farmers to neighboring countries, and also the farmer registration weaknesses. And the response, Honourable Speaker, indicates that the National Fertilizer Technical Committee did an investigation on this matter and found that there were fertilizer diversions, there were illegal repackaging, there was also theft and cross-border transfer of fertilizer across the border. The findings from this include, number one, farmer registration. Several key findings, and I'll just read a few because I reported back this earlier. There are a few changes, that there were cases of inflated declarations by those who are redeeming the vouchers. Also, duplicate registration. There was also registration on farmers, limited involvement of GAO team, and institutional framework, institutional farmers being registered under individuals, among others. There were many others. And they gave examples, cited several examples of, for instance, the findings in Busia where the farmers were allocated 716 bags through inflated acreage, and also in Woroni where an allocation of 600 bags was in excess of what was actually intended. On the issue of voucher redemption, Honourable Speaker, the key findings included redemption outside registered counties. There was also immediate resale of subsidized fertilizer, the voucher pooling by brokers and farmers selling vouchers due to financial hardship, among others. And notably, they also gave examples of certain examples of a farmer having been held with vouchers demanding an equivalent of that 9,000 bags of fertilizer, which means quite a number of acres. And also subsidized fertilizer resold in some areas like Kuresoi in Nakuru County. The issue of governance, Honourable Speaker, also was reported as one of the findings, which had both positive and negative results. The positive ones include strong coordination between NCPB, county governments, and county commissioners, or the Ngao team, multi-agency enforcement and active DCI investigations, as well as effective control at official, border posts. But the negative ones include weak oversight of the last mile distribution centers, limited post-redemption monitoring, and weak supervision of farmers, among others. And they cited some of the losses that were reported. For instance, in Busia, the 422 bags were lost. 60 bags were also lost in Chavakali, last mile distribution center. On the issue of policy gaps, the findings indicated that there were no comprehensive fertilizer subsidy policy. It is not there, it's not in place. There is no fertilizer traceability after redemption. There is also poor integration between the Kiamis data, the land ownership, and other databases that are used, and lack of clear guidelines for institutional farmers or institutional farms, among others. The final one, the second last, was the procurement and distribution challenges, which included late fertilizer deliveries, mismatch between the supplied fertilizer and farmer preferences, inadequate last mile centers, and ICT network failures, which were among the other findings. And finally, also the findings on cross-border smuggling indicate that 772 bags were confiscated around Malaba while trying to cross the border, as well as 5 bags intercepted while being smuggled into Uganda. And Honourable Speaker, there is also a report on improved there was also a report on contributing factors, where we have cross-border farming, and Kenya is known to produce seeds in Uganda, and therefore when we are supplying the fertilizer to Kenyan farmers who are farming in Uganda, sometimes fertilizer crosses border. Family ties also with the Ugandans, and use of informal or panya routes. Cross-cutting challenges, Honourable Speaker, include diversion by brokers, delayed delivery during peak demand periods, staff shortages, limited extension personnel, and weak accountability and inadequate legal framework, among others. There are quite a number of them. The member has already been given this particular response. The committee has come up with about 7 recommendations, one of them being strengthening the farmer registration, which is an issue. The other one, improving voucher management. Strengthening governance is the third one. Policy and legal reforms is the fourth one. The fifth one is improvement of procurement and distribution system. And the sixth one is strengthening border controls. In conclusion, Honourable Speaker, and I've done a summary of the main statement. In conclusion, Honourable Speaker, the ministry concludes that the fertilizer subsidy program remains essential for agricultural productivity and food security of this country, and fertilizer diversion is mainly driven by weak farmer registration, verification, and monitoring systems rather than procurement shortages. Also, the report concludes that improving data integrity, fertilizer traceability, enforcement, and legal framework will basically improve, significantly reduce leakage and ensure subsidized fertilizer reaches the intended farmers. The final issue that the member was interested in were the long-term interventions that are being implemented to safeguard subsidized fertilizer programs, prevent diversion, and also protect farmers from future shortages. And the ministry indicates that they will introduce 2-year framework contracts with multiple local and international fertilizer suppliers to guarantee timely availability. Also, the reports indicate that they will issue procurement orders before each planting season to allow adequate production and shipment planning. Also conduct a comprehensive audit and the validation of the KIAMIS data, strengthen the farmer and land verification through GAO and agriculture officers, introduce fertilizer traceability system and strengthen multi-agency enforcement, and develop a comprehensive fertilizer subsidy policy backed by stronger legal provisions to curb diversion, smuggling.
Honorable Mutunga, let me just stop you for a minute to recognize Kabuti.
End of that statement.
Yeah, sorry. Honorable Dr. Mutunga, I stop you because I see they are leaving in the speaker's gallery to recognize Kabutie Senior School from Tinderet, Nandi County. We welcome you to observe the proceedings of the House. Honorable Mutunga, are you done?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
And I hope you had served Honorable Sioi with the response. Honorable Sioi, are you satisfied? Do you have follow-up questions?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I am dissatisfied by the answer. I just want to go direct to the answer whereby the Minister has said that the rains came earlier than expected. I am just wondering, Madam Speaker, who is supposed to advise the farmers of this country when the rains are going to come? Who is supposed to inform them if the rains will delay or come earlier? Madam Speaker, as I stand here in Trans Nzoia, and I want to believe it's in the entire country, we don't have a harvest in the next few months. The maize dried up completely just because we had delays in the distribution of fertilizer. I am looking at, somebody has just said yes, and I know there are some of the people that are waiting in the next few months to go to the streets with sufurias because we are going to have food insecurity in this country, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the CS has spoken about increasing the quantity of fertilizer. If you look at the quantity of fertilizer this year compared to last year, there was an increase. But the problem was not the quantity of fertilizer. The problem was how it was being distributed, the structures that were put across. The chairperson has just said that they are going to strengthen, but the structure they are using is the same. The Ngaos, the commissioners, whoever, all those people that you've spoken about are the same people that were there before. So to me, we don't have a permanent solution to the problems that we are addressing at the moment. So, Madam Speaker, I would allow me to say that I think the CS has not taken this ministry seriously, telling us that fuel went high, and that is the reason as to why transportation of fertilizer to the county took long, is a total negligence to the ministry. Because this is supposed to be taken as a matter of urgency, Madam Speaker. You cannot say that the fertilizer reached the farmers late because of fuel. It was supposed to be given a first priority because this is food security of the country we are talking about. So, Madam Speaker, I would wish to ask the Minister to take serious this ministry that he's been given to man, because this is a very crucial ministry. And again, I would wish to understand what happens with the poor harvest that we are going to have in this country, in this next harvest, because we are expecting lower harvest in the country. And I know, and I must say, that it is out of negligence of the minister, because he has admitted on various occasions here, he said they had the late delivery. The points whereby fertilizer was being distributed were only 10 out of 25 wards in the entire county, of which they have said that they're going to increase from 10 to 20, and I would request that they increase the serving point to 25, so that at least each ward can have one serving point, so that the fertilizer can reach out to the farmers on time, and again it gives them easier time. I can imagine a farmer traveling all the way from Matumbei to town, in cereals board in town, just to come and collect fertilizer, and majority of them were complaining that you travel all the way, you get to town, then you are told to come tomorrow, you are told to come after a week. You keep on spending a lot of money, Madam Speaker. So I still want to request that they look into this to ensure that farmers get fertilizer timely and in the right quantity and the right fertilizer in that case. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chairman, I see the chair Rhodes is distracting you. I hope you have listened to Honorable Sioi. And I see even on the order paper you have two questions that are very related, because the question of Joses Lelmengit is on prolonged spell on food security. So it's quite a concern. And some of the issues, I would say maybe you still need to go back to the minister, but I think there also needs to be some improvement in the relationship between the national government and the county governments, because like the zero distribution, the zero going to the wards, going to the villages, you should work with the county governments. So maybe you can respond to what Honorable Sioi has asked, even as you look at what the other question had asked, although the person is not in the house, it's still very related.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the ministry did plan for a breakfast meeting to try and understand from the honorable member asking the questions what exactly they wanted from the questions, so that they can go and do a thorough brief on it. Maybe the honorable member never got the communication. But Honorable Speaker, what I would like to say is that let the honorable member draft specific questions, so that we can even invite the minister here, and you'll be able to answer all those questions plus any other that is related, and that will do justice to this particular sector.
Chair, this is the second time you're responding to this question. So what was the follow-up questions? Are you saying that you didn't know what you're responding to?
Honorable Speaker, what I said is that when we were required to go back to the ministry for further answers, the ministry planned for a breakfast meeting.
Did you inform the member?
We invited all the members who had asked questions. Some of them came, others did not come. And they were supposed to stand and say exactly what did they need from the question, because sometimes there could be some misunderstanding between the question itself, the context and content of the question, and also the answer that is being given. So they needed to give the breadth and depth of what they were requiring from the question, so that they were answered adequately. Honorable Speaker, having said that, I also indicate that it is good for the honorable member to redraft the part of the question that is not sufficiently answered, and then we can even invite the minister to come and answer the questions on the floor of this House.
Honorable Chairperson, I don't know how we need to ask the CS 3 times one question. It is looking like something is amiss. Honorable Sioi, did you get the communication for the meeting? Because what I've seen with these follow-up questions, I see when the CS is appearing, when you appear, you are able to also prosecute your issue better when the CS is appearing before the committee.
I did, Madam Speaker, but I was away and I communicated. And now that I've asked this question more than 3 times, probably maybe my next question would be, what measures is going to take to ensure that we don't have food insecurity in the next few months, now that we are going to have a very bad harvest? Because if we are going to have that with no measures put in place, we are going to be in trouble.
My advice would be, Honorable Sioi, in case this matter is still not satisfactorily dealt with, that you can also ask as a question, like the majority leader has said, that the CS can be made to appear, but it can only be prompted by a question from members. So I would request that you still are not satisfied, you do the same. Kosing?
No, Madam Speaker, you read my mind. And I think we come from the same place all the time for the last 15 years.
But I want to advise my colleague, Honorable Sioi, to put it in the form of a question. So the minister comes here. And then also the minister can be able to answer sufficiently supplementary questions. Because my colleague, Honorable Chair, like myself, has no, what does he do? He will not give you supplementary, or rather, answer supplementary questions. He's not the one. Somebody just wrote for him. So I think, Honorable, I want to persuade you, Honorable Sioi, my neighbor, bring the minister here. Put the question. Now the ministers have no job. You have just heard earlier, they have no job to come to the house. Put yours to be the first one. And then now, even the chair can help you to clarify those things before the chair. But it's true, Madam Speaker, there's a problem. Hunger is coming to this country, particularly North Rift, where I come from, with Honorable Sioi. And Chair, take note of that. There's going to be a problem in North Rift. Thank you, Madam.
Very well. The next question, Honorable Mutunga.
Yeah, Honorable Chair.
The next question is requested by Member for Ndaragwa, Honorable George Gachagua. You have the response?
Yes, Honorable Chair, I have the
Is in the House? Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, the Honorable Member for Ndaragwa, Honorable George Gachagua, did requests to know the causes of the delayed payment to Guangzhou Construction Company Limited, which was constructing Ndaragwa Horticultural Produce Market. Honorable Speaker, the statement concerns the delayed payment. And under this particular construction was under a project called Smallholder Horticultural Marketing Program, or SHOMAP, which was funded by eFund between 2007 and 2016. The background of this particular program, project, Honorable Speaker, was such that the Ndaragwa market was identified as a strategic horticultural market due to the area being high in agricultural potential. Following the termination of the initial contract for poor performance, Guangzhou Construction Company Limited was awarded the remaining works on 14th of March 2016 at a contract of 28 million shillings, 28.25 million shillings, with a completion period of 16 weeks. The Ministry of Lands served as the project manager then. Now, the second issue was the reasons for the delay in payment of the outstanding construction dues amounting to 16,470,112.63 to Guangzhou Construction Company Limited. The contractor received first interim payment certificate of 12,093,000 shillings in May 2016. The second IPC of 5.72 million was paid in August 2016. Another IPC worth 5.94 million was submitted in November 2016, but was never paid because SHOMAP program had already wound up. The contractor remained on site until December 2016, despite the project's supervision having ceased. The ministry attributes the delay to the project not being fully completed before the SHOMAP funding ended, a prolonged period during which the contractor did not actively pursue the claim. The matter only resurfaced after Nyandarua County formally wrote to the ministry in August 2025. Following this, Honorable Speaker, the Principal Secretary appointed a technical inspection committee to verify the outstanding works and payments. The findings of the inspection committee were as follows. The committee established that there was certified and paid works amounting to 10.45 million shillings. And then additional works valued at 5 million shillings were undertaken but require further verification for payment. Honorable Speaker, the market is substantially complete but cannot be operationalized until several remaining works are undertaken, including perimeter walling, parking and loading bay flooring, installation of roof water harvesting tanks, repair of vandalized fittings, and the repair of the facility, the painting of the facility. The other finding, the funds required, Honorable Speaker, are as follows. So the ministry has requested the National Treasury to vote that 5 million shillings comprising of 10.45 million are for certified outstanding payment, 5 million for verified additional works, and 20 million to complete the remaining works, undertake beneficiary training, and facilitate handover of the market. Timeliness for payments. The timeline for payment, Honourable Speaker, are as follows. The Ministry has not committed to a specific payment date. Instead, it states that payment and completion depends on approval of the requested funding from the National Treasury, after which the market will be completed and handed over to the county government of Nyandarua for management. On operationalization of the market, Honourable Speaker, the Ministry responds that once the funding is secured, the contractor will be paid, the outstanding works will be procured and completed, repairs on the vandalized sections of the market will be undertaken, beneficiary training will be conducted, and the facility will be formally handed over to the county government of Nyandarua, which will thereafter manage the market on behalf of the farmers and traders. And finally, Honourable Speaker, the measures to prevent similar delays in future, the Ministry does respond that the budget, she will only budget for projects with available funding. Also strengthen due diligence during the contractor selection and enhance project monitoring and evaluation. Also improve project management to ensure timely completion and payment of certified works, and continue coordinating with the National Treasury to minimize funding delays. I submit, Honourable Speaker.
Gachagua. Give the member for Ndaragwa the mic.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am I'm satisfied by the response, but Madam Speaker, it's worth noting that the facility has remained unused for over 10 years, despite its being completed substantially to usable status. I would wish, Madam Speaker, that the Ministry could honor the third IPC, the third interim payment certificate of about 10 million, as recommended by their team, which went for inspection on 22nd December 2025, provide that reference and pay that outstanding debt, so that at least, as they observed, Madam Speaker, that facility stayed for over 10 years without being used, and they noted that it had deteriorated. Madam Speaker, I wish that now the contractor can be paid that IPC for him to go back and finish that contract, so that the people of Ndaragwa can utilize it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Chair, I think you've heard his request. I don't think there needs to be more follow-up on it. But before you respond, allow me to recognize in the public gallery Area School from Kisumu Central, Kisumu County, as they observe the proceedings of the House. Mutunga, you have a follow-up on it?
Honourable Speaker, I just wanted to note that SHOMAP as a project was added. The ministry is indicating that they will look for money. They do not have money to pay directly right now. And they have promised that once they get money from Treasury, which is amounting to 5 million, they will pay the 10.4, they will pay the unverified 5 million, and also they will use the 20 million to do the finalize and handover. So I think there is still hope. I think what you need to do, ask the contractor to follow the ministry so that the timelines can be shortened.
Very well. Honourable Chairperson, you still have another statement to respond to. The owner of that question is the member for Mgwen, who is not in the House. You have the response?
I do, Honourable Speaker.
Kindly table it.
Honourable Speaker, I wish to table the response.
Yes, do not read it out, just table it.
Yeah.
The Chairperson, Transport and Infrastructure Committee was in the House. I don't see him. And I see there are members waiting. Honorable Ikana, Has he delegated anyone? And again, the member for Mgwen. So the question for Honorable Ikana will be deferred because I do not seem to see the chair in the House. I think we are done with the statements. We are done with the order on statements. Let's go to the next order.
Order number 8, motion. Second report of the status of reports on petitions and resolutions. Mover to reply.
I don't see the mover of this, so we'll defer it. And before we go to order number 9, Chairperson, Transport, I had seen you in the House, then you disappeared. I will go back to order number 7 because the member for Shinyalu has been waiting in the House patiently for this response so that you respond.
Thank
And
you,
as you get ready, allow me to recognize in the Speaker's Gallery New Pumwani School from Kamukunji constituency, Nairobi County. Welcome to observe the proceedings of the House. May I give the member for Nairobi 1 minute before Nabujike?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to welcome the students and to tell all the students that are in the House today, welcome to the Parliament, the Kenya National Assembly. We are honored that you are here, and we know that as you observe the work that we do and you study hard in your schools, one day you will be the ones sitting here and representing the people of this great country. So what we ask of you is please, your parents are working very hard to send you to school. Focus on your education. There's going to be times to do all the other things in your life. For right now, be students, work hard, play hard, and make your parents proud, make your nation proud, because this country needs great leaders like yourselves. We were once young, sitting in those very chairs. Today we are here. Tomorrow it will be your chance. So when you go home, tell your parents we send them our greetings. When you go back to school, tell them that you were in Parliament and you heard the conversations that we're having, and know that we are here to serve you so that this nation can become a country that we are all proud to call home. Thank you.
Very well. Member Fondia.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the member for Shinyaru constituency, Honorable Frederick Ikana, MP, requested a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport.
Honorable Member Fondia, you start with apology because you've made us actually break the order of the day.
Honorable Speaker, I apologize. I stepped out for a health break.
No worries.
Thank
Continue.
You. Thank you. And Honorable Speaker, the circumstances for the recurrent fatal hit and run accident, let me go back a bit. Honorable Speaker, in the statement, Honorable Ikana sought to establish one, the circumstances for the recurrent fatal hit and run accidents at Ilesi and Muruka centers along the Kisumu-Kakamega Road, including whether the area has been identified as a black spot. 2, a report on whether the identity of the hit and run vehicle involved in the tragic accident and measures being taken to address the increasing hit and run accidents in the area. And 3, the immediate and long-term measures being put in place by the Kenya National Highway Authority to mitigate accidents at Ilesi and Muruka centers, including installation of speed bumps or rambo strips, pedestrian walkways and crossings, service lane, proper road signage, street lighting, and other safety enhancements to protect road users. And 4, plans to compensate families of victims who perished in the accident and at Ilasi, Muruka centers. The measures being taken to strengthen traffic law enforcement and safety along the affected section of the road, including action against speeding and hit and run offenders. And 5, the timelines within which the proposed mitigation measures will be implemented to prevent further loss of life at the black spots. Honorable Speaker, the committee received a response from the Ministry of Roads, which I now wish to make. One, regarding the circumstances for the recurrent fatal accidents, the ministry submitted that preliminary assessments indicate the accidents have been associated with a combination of factors, including excessive speeding, unsafe crossing practices, limited compliance with the traffic regulations, and inadequate separation between vehicle and pedestrian traffic. The ministry further submitted that KENHA has installed and maintained warning and regulatory road signs, undertaken marking of pedestrian crossing and remarking faded pavement markings, and continues to conduct road safety sensitization programs. KENHA, in collaboration with NTSA and the National Police Service, continues to monitor accident trends and undertake road safety assessments to determine whether the affected locations meet the criteria for classification as black spots. 5, regarding the identity of hit and run vehicles and measures being taken, the ministry submitted that investigations are being conducted by the National Police Service. KENHA continues to provide technical support and relevant road infrastructure information required during investigations. To address the increasing accidents, the agency has installed road safety warning signs and is working closely with the NTSA, traffic police, county authorities, and local communities to enhance road safety awareness, improve road infrastructure, and support enforcement initiatives aimed at deterring traffic violations. Honorable Speaker, regarding immediate and long-term measures to mitigate accidents, the ministry submitted that KENHA has initiated a comprehensive safety review of the affected road sections. Immediate intervention under consideration include installation of rubber strips, enhancement of road markings, provision of additional warning, and regulatory signage, improvement of pedestrian crossing facilities, and strengthening public awareness campaigns. The long-term measures being evaluated include construction of pedestrian walkways, installation of street lighting at trading centers, and provision of service lanes where feasible, and upgrading of pedestrian crossing facilities and implementation of other engineering intervention recommended through road safety audit and traffic studies. These measures, Honorable Speaker, will be undertaken subject to technical feasibility, prioritization, and availability of funding. And regarding compensation of families of victims and strengthening traffic law enforcement, the ministry stated that compensation of victims of traffic accidents is governed by applicable laws and insurance arrangements involving the parties responsible. KENHA does not ordinarily provide compensation unless liability is established in accordance with the law. To enhance safety, KENHA in collaboration with the NTSA and National Police Service is collaborating with NTSA and NPS to strengthen traffic enforcement, undertake road safety sensitization campaigns, improve road safety infrastructure, and support measures targeting speeding vehicles and offenders involved in traffic hit and run accidents. And regarding timelines for implementation, the ministry submitted that KENHA has already implemented a number of short-term interventions along the affected roads section, including installation of additional warning and regulatory road signs, remarking of faded pavement marking, installation of rumble strips where appropriate, and continuous road safety sensitization programs. The authority will continue monitoring the effectiveness of these measures. The medium and long-term intervention will be implemented subject to completion of design, prioritization within the road safety programs, and availability of funding. Honorable Speaker, I do submit.
The Honorable Ikana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to first start by appreciating the Chairman, Transport Committee, for follow-up to this statement and for the response you have given on behalf of the Ministry. I, however, wish to state that having listened very carefully to the Chair of Transport and assessing the veracity of the response he has given with the actual facts on the ground, I return a no factual verdict, because most of the measures, especially the short-term measures that the ministry is alleging to have undertaken in relation to the question I'd asked about the frequent road accidents at Moraka, is not true. Number one, there are no clear markings on the road at Moraka. And number two, they're alleging that there are speed bumps and rubber strips around Moraka Center. It is not true. We don't have that intervention as of now. And also there is no a clear speed limit signage around that area, which is a very, very dangerous thing, bearing in mind that we have a very popular school around there, that's Moraka Primary School, with over 800 students, and also a market center. And this should have been a very obvious thing for the ministry to do, because it is not limited to Moraka. I think across all our highways, it should be a standard practice that we approach schools and market centers, there should be clear signage on the speed limits. Then on the aspect of compensation for victims who have suffered the tragic road accidents before, I request that the ministry takes this very, very seriously in collaboration with the Ministry of Internal Security to ensure that at least we also have security cameras to help capture some of those speeding motorists who hit our pupils and speed off. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Speaker, allow me to agree with the Honorable Ikana that much more needs to be done to be able to reduce the number of accidents that we're seeing on our roads. One of the interventions that I personally have been pushing the ministry to undertake is increment of or increasing the number of road signages on our roads. We do not have enough signages on our roads, which makes it very difficult for motorists to even when you don't want to cause an accident. Of course, nobody wants to cause an accident, but you find yourself even hitting a bump where it has not been marked, there is no signage, and it becomes very difficult for motorists to use our roads. One good example, and I'm just reinforcing his concerns. You drive on UN Avenue, Gigiri. There's a bump that was erected the other day where the Dutch embassy has been put up, the new embassy. There is a bump there. It's not marked. There's no signage, and it's on a downward drive. So it is very difficult for motorists on our road. So we want to agree with the Member of Parliament, and I'm working with the Minister because I have raised this issue with the Ministry so that we engage in this very serious and urgent intervention. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
The Honourable George Karaoke, Akaji K. I think this is a chance for you to go to Western Kenya. We hardly see your ministry on the roads, your committee on the roads. Some of these things, when members raise them, take the opportunity to go to the ground. We want to see in Muraka, in Kakamega, so that the ministry will take you seriously. We want to see members of parliament in Muraka, Kakamega. We want to see you somewhere in Gambogi, where there's no signage. We want to see the committee, and not with the ministry in Mombasa or in Naivasha. Go to the ground. See, let parliamentarians go to where these things are happening. So that then you feel this. So that then you bring a report and say, indeed, the Honorable Ikana brought an issue. The ministry gave a report which he disagreed with. And we went to the ground. It's indeed true that these things they're saying, talking about, are not on the ground. We would like to see you down there and in our constituencies. The Honorable GK, my friend, I would imagine this is the time to do that.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and I want to agree with you that we need to visit more constituencies and more parts of this country. But the reason why we are allowed to raise questions here is because we can't be able to be everywhere, and the Member of Parliament is better placed to raise the concerns of his or her constituents. So, Honourable Speaker, I do agree with you. I don't want to argue, but we're doing our best, Honourable Speaker, under the prevailing circumstances, and we will keep pushing this agenda. Honourable Speaker, we've been visiting very many places. The other day we were in Kisumu, we were in Nandi. We will be next week. We'll be in Naivasha, not Naivasha town, but we'll be inspecting this road under construction. So we are very proactive. We are not a passive committee. We are a very active committee. Thank you.
Made in good faith, in the sense that when the ministry disagrees with the Member of Parliament on a matter that is factual, then there must be a way of giving evidence that indeed what the member is saying is what is right, and what the minister is saying is, So I think this decision is made in that regard. The next one is, you wanted to say something on this particular statement? Okay, Mwalimu Kombe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I heard the chair saying, and I wish he could be listening.
Order, the Honorable Chair, your attention is required.
I heard the Honorable Chair saying all that will be done depending on the availability of funds. And he went ahead to say he visited several areas where he saw indeed the signs were lacking, bumps were lacking, of which I should feel or think that should have been catered for in the budget, such that we would be talking of them being erected here and there, so that we run away from the several accidents that normally occur. Mr. Speaker, a place in my constituency known as Kwandomo, each and every week we record an accident. No bump, no signs, no nothing. Even the zebra crossing is not there. at least to alert the people this is the right place for crossing. Mr. Speaker, I think the chair and the ministry should do something and be serious on it. Thank you.
Properly. Do you want to say something on that?
Just to agree with the honorable member that more needs to be done, especially availing funds to put up roadside signages. So we are pushing the ministry, and I know the minister has in the recent past committed that he will avail more resources to make sure that all our roads are clearly marked, their proper signages, and so that as you drive and as you use our roads, you are well guided by the roadside signages. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I appreciate.
Well said. So the next response was to a request by the honorable member for Mgwen. I don't know whether the member for Mgwen is in the house. Is the Honorable Joses in the house? The Honorable Chair, now that the member is not there, I would allow you to proceed to just table the response. Then it can be discussed next time the member is around.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Do it on the mic.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Chair. I will table this response because Honorable Member for Keses is not in, and Gwen, sorry, is not in the house. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Just go ahead and say a response to which particular statement request that it's
yes, the statement requested by the member who is not in the chamber is, concerns. Let me see. Requested a statement from the chairperson. He requested a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding a fatal accident at Sirua Yala and the status of maintenance works on the Eldoret Kapsabet Chavakari Road C39.
Okay.
The minister submitted to us the response, and Honorable Speaker, I wish to lay this report on the table of the House. Thank you.
Thank you. And that ends the session on requests for statements and responses thereto. We move now to order number. Next order.
Order number 9, the County Library Services Bill, Senate Bill number 40 of 2024, resumption of debate.
Members, debate on this had commenced, proceeded, and we had a member on the floor. We had no member on the floor. When the debate was adjourned on Tuesday, 4th of August, there's no member on the floor, so if there's anyone wants to contribute. Come on, how do you say no? You have members who may want to contribute on this, come on. If there is members, you notice this is a bill from the Senate, and so instead of asking for what call to reply, I would defer debate on this bill to a later date when it's again it's already in the order paper. Next order.
Order number 10, motion Report of the Kenya delegation to the 151st Assembly of the Interparliamentary Union, IPU, and related meetings.
The leader of the delegation, it was this, the Honorable Millie Gesa Odhiambo. Go ahead, the Honorable Member.
Mr. Speaker, you forgot bad girl.
The Honorable Bad Girl, go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this House notes the report of the Kenya delegation to the 151st Assembly of the Interparliamentary Union, IPU, and related meetings that was held in Geneva, Switzerland, from the 19th to the 23rd of October, 2025, and laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 11th March, 2026. Mr. Speaker, the 151st Assembly of the IPU and its related meetings was held at the International Conference Center, Geneva, in Geneva, Switzerland, from Sunday the 19th to Thursday the 23rd of October 2025. All IPU statutory bodies, including the Governing Council, standing committees, committees on the human rights of parliamentarians and on the Middle East question, as well as the Forum of Women Parliamentarians and the Forum of Young MPs convened during this assembly. The 151st Assembly was particularly significant as it was the first statutory meeting of the IPU following the 6th World Conference of Speakers of Parliament, which had taken place in Geneva in July 2025. Mr. Speaker, the Assembly provided an opportunity to carry forward the commitments made by Speakers of Parliament and to translate them into concrete action and parliamentary action at the global level. Mr. Speaker, the general debate focused on the overarching scheme of upholding humanitarian norms and supporting humanitarian action in times of crisis, which is a subject of profound relevance given the proliferation of armed conflicts worldwide, the unprecedented scale of humanitarian need, and the growing strain on the international humanitarian system. The choice of Geneva as a venue carried particular symbolic weight as a city hosted the diplomatic conference that adopted the Geneva Conventions nearly 80 years ago. For those of us who have studied humanitarian law, do understand what those Geneva Conventions are, which established the cornerstone of international humanitarian law. Mr. Speaker, I know that you are an expert in that area. Mr. Speaker, it is against a backdrop of deepening global crisis.
Well, I actually studied in Switzerland.
Pardon?
I actually studied in Switzerland where you were doing your
Yes,
conference.
Mr. Speaker, I know that you even studied in Switzerland. Mr. Speaker, I didn't study in Switzerland, but I probably traveled in Switzerland more than you. But that aside, Mr. Speaker, it is against a backdrop of deepening global crisis that the Assembly convened. According to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, nearly 310 million people were estimated to need humanitarian assistance in 2025, the highest figure ever recorded. Over 123 million people had been forcibly displaced worldwide, and 1.9 million people were experiencing catastrophic hunger. At the same time, funding for humanitarian response was shrinking, and respect for international humanitarian law was being eroded. It was within this sobering context that parliamentarians from around the world gathered to reaffirm their commitment to human dignity and the rule of law. Mr. Speaker, this is one of the topics that I usually find very paradoxical, that we actually have rules of war I know when I studied humanitarian law, I used to raise it as a theoretical crisis, that humanity needs rules of war. We just need to stop war. Then we don't need rules of war. But because we have people who by very nature create wars and create situations like the one that people were discussing earlier, when I got in, there was a statement that was forwarded here by my Committee of Defense on Batuk, and where we were saying as Kenya that we want to sign the defense agreement, but upon having certain conditions. And one of those conditions is making sure that our women in Laikipia are protected. And then you find that there's a former member of parliament who argued that our committee was bribed, I don't know, 5 billion. If our committee was bribed, mine has not reached, and I would want him to take the intervention and ask the bribers to get mine to reach me so that I can take it to the relevant authorities. But, Mr. Speaker, it is against a backdrop where we have people going against, what is normal, against the norm. The norm is that we need to promote peace and not war. And because we are promoting war and not peace, we are having global crises that we have never foreseen. And this is why the IPU prioritize the issues of humanitarian issues or law. At the same time, funding for humanitarian response was shrinking, and respect for international humanitarian law was being eroded. It was within this sobering context that we actually gathered to reaffirm commitment to human dignity and the rules of war. Mr. Speaker, the Assembly considered 2 requests for the inclusion of an emergency item. One submitted by South Africa on behalf of the African group concerning the situation in Madagascar, and another submitted by Thailand, Argentina, Chile, Poland, and Sweden concerning transnational organized crime, cybercrime, and hybrid threats to democracy and human security. Both proposals obtained the requisite 2/3 majority in a roll call, and the second proposal, having received the larger number of positive votes, was included on the Assembly's agenda. The Kenyan delegation actively participated in all facets of the Assembly, making substantive contributions to the general debate, committee deliberations, and side events. Mr. Speaker, before I get into what some of the members of Kenya did, one of the recommendations that I've said that I must give to this Assembly is that the IPU is actually a parliament of parliaments. I have served in the Pan-African Parliament, and at the onset of each parliament, we send a delegation of 5 people, and I know currently we have Honorable Esther Passaris and others who serve in the Pan-African Parliament, and they serve the full term. Mr. Speaker, we have had excellent Kenyans who we have served, including KJ, who have served in the IPU. But because the way the IPU is situated, you find that midway, somebody like Honorable KJ, who was such a wonderful person, and because he was chairing one of the committees, when his term came to an end, he was actually
with Fofana. Seri collects. Tries to get the ball in. There's a chance for a shot. A great goal. Sumptuous shot. Great goal. Ouedraogo. And the Côte d'Ivoire celebrates an opening goal right at the end of the first half. Bit of a scramble, but how about that for a fabulous finish for the Côte d'Ivoire. Safi Ouedraogo. And goal number 2 for her here at this WAFCON. There's Seri, she fires the ball over. Oh, no problem with offside, there's a bounce there, and look at that for the volley. Off her thigh, and then she just turns, shoots, and hits a beauty that flies past Nusrat Abbas. She can do nothing. An opportunist strike with that fine left foot of hers.
Pata makao na boma yangu.
Can you be human for a minute?
Haven't you been calling me that? Hurry up, Shorty.
Wait, who's Shorty? We barely know each other. Please show a hint of kindness. What's with the hostility?
Why didn't you tell me yet you had arrived?
Your ex-girlfriend banned me from contacting you.
You want to say something?
I didn't say anything.
But your eyes tell me you've got something to say.
Oh, he even wants to control how I think. What a horrifying character.
Get ready for a captivating continental football extravaganza. KBC Channel 1 brings you exclusive coverage of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON. From Sunday the 26th of July to Sunday the 16th of August 2026. Welcome to Morocco! Morocco is the battleground as Nigeria defend their title against 15 other nations fighting to lift the prestigious trophy. Who will be crowned Queens of African Football? Courtesy of the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports. Watch all the action unraveling on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Pull up the vibe, getting fun. No more vibe, when I got justice. Feeling my stance, feeling my flow. A girl from good as the eye, ready to go on,
Hello, hello, nimekuja na tangazo.
Hapo tu. Bra, staki kusikia.
Hii ni moto. This is how we do it, yeah. And yeah, we do it like that. Zaki moto. Do. It's party, Zaki moto.
Topande na Mungu